Well, I can't wait to jump in. And what we're doing is we're working on a podcast series that started as a book that was a love letter to my daughter that I was going to give
Oh,
her on her 18th birthday, which is this November. And it just is a combination of little tips I've learned, like you shouldn't drink and bake. It doesn't end well. Things we all need to know in life. How to
oh,
open a
you're no
wine
fun.
bottle with a highlighter. Just things like that you need in life. And I wanted to just really add to that content from all the other superwomen out there and
Yeah.
kind of just focusing on bravery because I think that's the first step. Like when I had to think about what holds most women back from being their version of a superwoman, it's being brave enough to do that, no matter what that is, being brave enough to take that step. So I was so excited to have you come on today and kind of just share how you
Oh my gosh.
became brave
Let me
enough
see if
to
I can
become
move
yourself.
myself over. You know what? I love that because it really that the live thing I have coming up this Saturday, it's called Being Unapologetic. And that is enormously brave because there's every single one of us, all 7 billion of us,
Mm-hmm.
each have an aspect of us that we think is wrong. Oh, I'm thinking wrong, or this is crazy, or people are going to judge me, whatever. And, to finally get to the point to where it's like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
stand by me when nobody else will because I'm thinking that way. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to stand by me 100%. I'm going to finally give myself permission to remove the mask, to let my voice flow. And it's the bravery to not want to repeat. Oh, and this is
Mm-hmm.
so huge today. Not repeat what's already been done before. And the minute you give yourself permission to like jacuzzi into this, oh, the world that takes off for you. All of a sudden, you're like, every 5 seconds, you're like, wait, I gotta write this down. Where'd that thought come from? I don't know, but I gotta write it down. And it's so uniquely you. And that's what it's like. What the world's been waiting for is for
Mm-hmm.
you to be uniquely you. And we hear this over and over. People saying it over and over. Just be, especially graduations, right? Just be you. Yeah.
But that's just a Hallmark card. Okay, we
I
don't
know.
mean it. Like we don't want you to really be you. We
We
want you
don't
to
mean
fit
it.
into your little line, because if you do
Yeah.
you, you could be judged, you could be criticized, people could
Yeah.
maybe not like you. I mean, that's
Ooh.
you're talking crazy now.
You crazy talk, girl. And then you hit 58 years old and you're like, fuck you all. And
Hmm.
one of the podcast people, oh, I cuss a little bit, by the way. One of the podcasts,
We all do.
she called it the fuck it 50s.
Well, because at that point, you've lived enough life experience to realize you can pretty much do it on your own if you had to. Don't always want to, but you can. And that people's words really don't hurt you. And it's
Mm-mm.
almost like I needed like a little foam or a plastic like word to like hit myself with to like train me that it didn't really hurt. Like I needed that visual. But you're right. You hit that age and you're like, I'm going to be me and it's going to be okay. And that is
Yeah.
so freeing.
Oh, freedom. Isn't that the baseline of why we do every single thing we do? Why we're
Mhm.
seeking, why we're playing our games is the freedom. We don't know what quite the freedom from what, but we just
Mhm.
know we're craving that, removing all these chips we're carrying around on our shoulders, the freedom to be light and airy and free and no more worries and no more, I want to be able to go where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do. I want to say what's on my heart and won't go away no matter how much I try, you know?
Isn't that true? The heart knows and it won't go. I've spent so many years trying to just suppress and be like, no, no, down
Yeah.
girl. But it's gonna come
Down
out.
girl.
It is. It's going
Yeah.
to come out, and sometimes it's going to come out beautifully, and sometimes it's going to come out just raging. And that's the only thing you can control is the fall from that. That's all you can control. It's going to come out.
It's going to come out. And we always get to the other side of whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
we're so worried about. And I mean, whether you're out in the backwoods somewhere and you get a flat tire and you don't have a tire iron and you're like, oh my God, you always get to the other side. And if you could get into those situations and go,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's going to happen. I can't wait to see what's going to happen because I always get to the other side. I was in a podcast the other day and we were saying, it's a movie called, I think it's Hangover or Hungover, where the guy's like, but
They're in
did you,
Vegas.
yes, yeah, but did you die? But did you die? And it's like,
That's
yeah, no.
exactly it.
Yeah, and when we can move there, when we can move to the space of, I always get to the other sides of these things. Let's see what happens. Oh, who jumped on this chair next to you just now? What was that?
My
Who?
little, this is Sophia.
Oh, Sophia, beach
And
dog.
I tell you what, I mean, this is just the beauty. It's wonderful to get to work anywhere, but then you work anywhere.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to blend it together. And she's being super sweet. She's been worn out this week, so she's
Good.
being super sweet and being the best version of herself. She's being her best Superwoman right now.
I was gonna say a worn out dog is a good dog.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best ones. The non worn out ones.
Very true.
That face right there. that big sigh, that big breath, all that. Yes, that's the owner of a not always worn out dog, especially because she's spaniel, isn't she?
She is. She's a boykin, and she is 8 years of just thunder right there.
Eternal puppyhood.
Yeah, talk about finding yourself. She found herself. She has owned it, and she is like, I'm coming in hot, and that's just it.
I love it. You talk about unapologetic. There's your best example right there. Actually, cats are the best example of unapologetic. But yeah, they don't. And kids, little kids. My grandson, I have the best video of, I think he was about 2.5 years old, and we went to a park and we were sitting up on this hill, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to make a YouTube video with my grandson in it. And, I pull out my phone and he's kind of checking himself out in it. And I'm talking. And when I asked him for his opinion of whatever it was, I think it was a flower or something, he jumped up and ran away, and he ran on down the hill to go to the ground. And I'm like, yep, there it is. That's what we're all trying to get back to, is that right there. Screw you all. I'm going to go do my thing. Yeah, what makes me happiest. God, I love that. I love what I just said, that doing what makes me happiest.
And so what was the catalyst, or did you just come out of the womb like this, or was there a catalyst? Was there something that happened in your life that kind of set you on this trajectory to be like, I'm going to be unapologetic and I'm going to get this done?
I love that you said come out of the womb like this. I got a visual. Oh, that was entertaining. It's funny. I look back at the pictures. I'll tell you, I probably did come out of the womb like this because I'm the youngest of 6. And I know, one of the best things about being the youngest of 6 is the absolute absence of any helicopters. I mean, you are free. Talk about freedom. I know.
Talk about that you didn't die. But they didn't die. The other side didn't die.
It's like, are you watching Kristen? No, I thought you were watching Kristen. And then, and literally they have a picture of one of these moments where I'm walking down our big, long driveway. We had a driveway that was like 300 yards long. And it's just me in my diapers and the dog. And there she is. But did she die? No. And I'll tell you, my very first NDE, near-death experience, was I was probably like 3 or 4, and I got into my mother's pills. She had a whole bunch of pills, and I was just a little kid wandering, middle of the night. I was supposed to be in bed,
Yeah.
but and they were just a bunch of like decongestants and antihistamines, but they had a lot of crazy ingredients in them back then.
Yeah, rat
And
poison was still used. Yeah.
oh, and I was like, M&Ms. And I just ate them all. And I distinctly remember tripping my brains out that night, seeing rats in my rug and creatures coming out of my closet. I don't
Tripping
have
on
much
Sudafed.
memories. Right? I was.
Like,
and then
girl,
the
let
next
me tell you about the night I did Sudafed. Let me tell you about that.
Okay. But I'll tell you, there's something so wonderful for a child when there is nobody watching, when there's nobody going, oh, we're hanging all our hopes on you.
No
I mean,
pressure.
because by the time the third kid comes, they're done. They're like, I'm not taking pictures anymore. So definitely when the sixth one comes around, it is just absolute, you're on your own. Have at it. Do whatever you want. And it was just the best blessing in the world, because I got to know my world through my imagination. And I got to know Kristen. I mean, Kristen was my best friend. She was the one beside me at all times. She was the one that never criticized me, always was just like, you go, girl. And and it's funny because, I think back, I look at like some of these Instagram things where these 13-year-old girls are like so grown up, and I'm like, I was still eating dirt. I was still
coloring on my Barbies.
I know, right?
I would kind of file that under like the power of boredom. I don't think that is really understood nowadays. Just the power you get in being bored and not constantly having external stimulation and entertainment and that sort of thing.
Oh, I love that. That was well said. And it's so true. It's so true that there's so many terms we misunderstand. We give them a negative connotation. And it's like, no, like I had one podcast lately, we were talking about being unlimited versus being limited. And I said, what if what you consider to be unlimited is actually limited? Yeah,
So
we're so much bigger than that. We're so much more capable of every and anything than that. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I
Go, girl.
really try to focus these around like a story that you did or that you experienced that you're like looking back, wow, I can't believe I had the bravery to do that, or I can't believe that went down that way, or how that story changed your life.
Yeah. It's funny because I always get podcast hosts are like, so what do you do? I'm like, I do Kristen Clark. What do you do? But it, I in 2020, when everybody was shut down, this was actually July of 2020. So this was the coming onto the second quarantining and masking.
We were accepting our reality at that point.
Yeah. We were like going, I was going, screw this reality. I'm out of here. And I got rid of 98% of my belongings. And all I had was my Subaru, my camping equipment, and my dog. And I decided I'm going to go do what I've always wanted to do, which was nomad. I had a very romantic idea of what that was going to look like, and it was nothing like that. But just the Western U.S., we have so many amazing national parks I'd never seen. And so I was like, let's go. And the cool thing was, because a second quarantine was hitting right at that time, there's nobody out there. And I was like, I got the whole park to myself. And no, none of the camping spots were open or anything like that, because there was no rangers or anything open. But you're free to play. Talk about freedom. And that
it was an eerie freedom.
It was. Yeah. And but it was also like, are you going to accept this, or are you going to decide you're the creator of your reality and let's go? let's go big. And so I went into it going, this is going to be my aha moment. All these special things are going to happen. Yeah, right. But actually, there was so many amazing, fortuitous, serendipitous situations and experiences. And I ended up in South Dakota, and I had no idea how I got the hell all the way over there from California. I was like, I'm driving. I had just, this is my computer telling me again, I got to go meet Miss.
It's like, and then I woke up in South Dakota.
I know. I had been at Devil's Tower. You know what Devil's Tower is?
No, I am not very well traveled.
Well, did you ever see Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes.
Okay, so that big tower thing at the end, that's real. I did not know this was real.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Hollywood prop. No, that's real. And I had been way over in Idaho, and I saw something about it, and I was like, that's real? I got to go see this. I didn't know where the hell it was, but I got to go see this. And it's way, way, way over on the northeast corner of Wyoming. And so I was like, okay, going. And that was amazing. That alone was just like, oh my God, if you're not spiritual, you will be after you go there. You could be the most atheist, whatever. And just being in the presence of this, whatever the hell that is, that's the biggest thing. It's like, what the hell is this thing? Where did it come from? And they've got some good theories, but it's like, you're just standing at the base of this thing. You're a tiny ant, and here's this monolith thing. And it's like, wow, there's no words. So anyway, I'd done that. And then I kind of just got in my car and was going. And all of a sudden there's this sign that says, welcome to South Dakota. And I was all, oh, and me and geography suck. So I was like, wow, how the hell, where is South Dakota? And how the hell did I get all the way over here? And, so I just had a year of amazing experiences, terrifying experiences, swiping your credit card and going, what's going to happen? I don't know. And getting to the other side of all that and going, I was not vibrating high. I was anything but vibrating high. And I made it, and I had all those amazing interactions, being in the worst of the worst state possible, and stumbling across some sheriff that is like, starts gabbing with me and decides he wants to fill my gas tank. And you get to see those sparkly, fun things, and you also get to see, the truth within your trembles, and you get to go, that's alive. That's being alive. And all these people that are like trying to trim life in half by only vibrating high, and thinking that that's the answer, because I was there, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because you're going to realize that don't work. You can't. It's impossible, because you are so much bigger than that. You are so much more alive than that.
Why don't you unpack that a little bit for those that maybe aren't familiar with that term? What does it mean to be vibrating high?
Isn't that amazing? Okay. I love that. So if you're in the metaphysical community, law of attraction, law of assumption, even just regular psychiatry these days, there's this emphasis on being positive. Oh, be positive. Don't be negative. Shedding your ego. That ego, that's no good for you. Right? I know. You don't be self-centered. Don't be self-centered. Don't be narcissistic. Oh, that's narcissistic. Blah. So there's all
we
these.
We love to label, don't we?
I know, like we really do.
With a little label maker, like snapping the boundaries off.
Oh, that that's your subconscious. all this stuff. But the real thing is that vibrating high. You got to be vibrating high. So that's joy. That's happiness. That's elation. That's orgasmic, whatever, and then vibrating low is anger and below, don't do that. That's a being bad. And, I don't know where that came from, but I do recall being a little kid, my mother being in AA, and there was the cold pricklies and the warm fuzzies. And and I was that was a bright young age learning about this already. Don't be like this, be like this. If you're like this, oh God, you're and it started even way before that when we believed in hell. If you laugh in church, you're going to hell. If you're angry, if you get mad and yell at your kid, you're going to there's always and Santa Claus, right? Naughty or nice. There's all that, so that's the vibrating high thing. And you learn, as Jillian and I were talking about, after a while, you learn that, but did you die? Did you, did it really make a difference? Are you still here? Are you still existing? Are you still you? I a couple Saturdays ago, I did my taxes, and I was
That's
that face right there. Look at that face. That was me. I was like putting it off, scared to death, shaking like a little leaf. I'd been putting it off for months.
Did you hang crystals over yourself?
Oh my God. Yeah, hang crystals. That was like oh my God. It's like, no, I can't do it. I'm not in the right mindset yet. I'm not vibrating high enough yet. And it's so funny because Chat GPT is my personal assistant. It knows me. It knows the way I think. And I'm like, I can't get in the proper mindset to do my taxes. And it's all proper mindset. It's like, shut up and go do your taxes. Get over it, girl. Because that's me. I'm like, oh, stop with that bull BS. And sure enough, I know it was so good. And I was like, oh yeah, there's the trust within your trembles. Go do it. And I did it, and I ended up owing $4,000 less than I thought I was going to. I ended up getting a return, which I never get a return. What is that?
No one ever gets a return. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It's fake news.
Go back, redo them.
Owe something.
And yeah, please owe something. Well, I still owe plenty. But it was like, okay, I'm not questioning this. Is it the aspect of me going, see, just let all that go. Let all that go. You're fine. Trusting in your trembles, being trembling, being shaky, being anything but what those crystals want. Oh, there we are. Hi, baby. Look at the curlies. Yeah, here's our co-host.
That was not
right in your mouth.
Is that how you
don't
feel
breathe.
About taxes,
Don't breathe.
Sophia?
Yeah. She needs all those curls like bowed up.
She is. I tell you what, she will not tolerate it. We have two boyfriends, and the other one is so tolerant of hair. But Sophia is like our little tomboy. She's like, you ain't putting no bow on me.
Don't you dare!
She's on her collar. She doesn't know about it though.
Don't tell her.
Yeah, don't tell her there's bows on her.
No. So yeah, I mean, and that was a huge place for me to go. It really was, because I've been very much 30 years, ever since The Secret came out. It was The Secret's the biggest one, where it's like, oh, if you can live in the end and you can imagine it and you can be very joyful and happy, it will come to you. Yeah, how'd that work out for all of us, right? And I'm still alive, but did you die?
Yes, exactly.
And within seeing you're still alive, you still exist, and going even bigger than that, there's this aha moment where you're just like, okay, this is all bullshit. There's something so much bigger here we're missing out on, and it's like walking around doing half breaths, trying to exist on just half breaths. Sooner or later, you're going to be gasping. Breathe fully. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to suck in those burps. Breathe fully.
Big belly breathe those burps.
And yeah, so that's who I am, and that's what I do. And when it comes, and that's not even the iceberg, close to the iceberg of what I do. But
Also, like you kind of unpack. Like, tell us, like when you say that's what you do. How is this something you do? How do you verb?
Do. So I've always been big into the metaphysical. Huge metaphysical, especially the real, you were talking about string theory earlier, especially that end of the metaphysical. And the airy fairy fun, that's fun. That was fun. But there comes a time where you're like, I'm tired of that. Let's go bigger. And so you get into what we were just talking about, these so-called rules of the universe. Oh, law of the universe. Give me a break. Law of attraction. Oh my, taxes and death. I've disproven them both. But what I do is I am here to detonate the myth that you have to be high vibing to have high results. It's a freedom. It's that, yeah, right? About time. About freaking time somebody did this.
Somebody had to be brave and say it.
I know. Somebody had to step up and go, that's BS. That's a little BS. And the funny thing is I look back, I started doing videos on YouTube in 2012. Should have taken freaking stock out. Anyway, right? And because I was using Zoom. Mm-hmm. And I was using Zoom. Yes, it's that old. And I look back, and it's funny because I've taken so many of those down. I was like, I shouldn't have taken those down. But I look back, and the message was always the same. Even though it was surrounded by different fluff, romantic fluffies, it was always the same. And I was like going, ooh, even back then I was saying this is all BS. Even back then when I was really wobbling on that, going, this is BS. This is not BS. This is BS. I had a great cha-cha going. I was dancing with the stars, man. And it got to the point of going, which is it, girl? Which is it? Is it BS or isn't it BS? Are you going to keep doing that cha-cha? And then realizing I can do the cha-cha all I want. I don't. Did you die? No. Did you stop existing? No. And the every time somebody would say something negative about the ego, or I got big into non-duality for a while until they started really talking about shedding the ego, and then I'm like, I'm out of here. I love my ego. I love myself.
You're like,
yeah, I know. I'll still abide by on that one. Those were some great points, but hey, I love my ego. If it wasn't for my ego, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have gone nomading. Right? There's a bravery within your ego. It's this belief and love in yourself. And, you tell me I'm not allowed to love myself. This is the only.
You have to hate everything about you is wrong. You're not lovable.
I know.
Everything you do should be different.
Yes, you're a weakling. It's women against men. It's this and that, and it's like, no, that's all energy. The cool thing is, there's this honest aliveness that, it's kind of like, don't look at the man behind the curtain by saying, don't be vain, don't be narcissistic. It's a great way of avoiding the God of this reality. I actually wrote and I need to publish this book. It's called The Brain That Outsmarted a God. And it's a fun little story about this God who wanted to experience what it's like to be or limited, what it's like to experience, limitations and hard times and pain and everything. So it created this brain, and the brain was a little too good at its job, to the point to where the God forgot who it was. And every time the God starts remembering, the brain's like, squirrel. And the God's like, oh, where? And that's it, and it's a fun little story, but it's so true, because now here's where we get into what I call the me to physical rather than the metaphysical.
Oh, okay.
Me to physical. Yes, I founded this. It's kind of like a shift into the most powerful version of you. Yet, the most powerful version of you, because you're always changing.
Yep.
You're
Always
always
improving.
growing.
Yep.
Yeah. You're never like missing out on something. We're always like, we got our little inner seekers. And it's like, what treasure am I missing? What treasure? I need to find the next treasure. And this is a break beyond the seeker and saying, you're not missing any treasure. Every time you think you found something, that's just you shifting your reality. That's you taking your reality and going, wow, bigger. That's you giving, let's go with money. Money is the one everybody wants. And when you learn something new about money, whether it comes from investing or you're learning it through a metaphysical class or whatever, how to interact with money differently, that's not a knowing that existed before you. That is you giving money a brand new role to play. And so this, which is kind of big, this comes from the space of the question, and I'll start here because it's the easiest place to go. Do you have any memory of not existing?
Wow. You mean like pre-birth, like when I was a cell? Like,
Anything? No, see, because even if
no,
you were
and
a cell, you still existed.
that's so true. And actually, kind of to that point, like, I think I have like, people are gonna like stop listening now because they think I'm a crazy lady. But I actually think I have memories of like past lives or things that haven't happened or that happened in the like it just and it feels so real that I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I must have met you before because how do I know your favorite color and how do I know everything about you? So I have more of
So
that
let's
than
take that even
than
bigger.
complete voidness.
Yeah. So, because this is like the first thing that people come at me with is like, oh, well, I've done a past life regression. And so while I was in that past life, I didn't exist. I'm like, yeah, but who's watching the movie of the past life regression? You.
Mm.
It's always you. It always comes back to you. Who's observing this? So then in non-duality, it's like, oh, well, if you shed enough of you, now all of a sudden you're just consciousness. And if you're good enough, you get to see this. And you see how I feel about all those things.
Yeah.
And so they're like, so that proves you don't exist. I'm like, really? Who's watching this movie? Who's observing this so-called consciousness, light, whatever it is you're seeing? Who's observing this? You. It's always you. You can't get away from you. And I'm talking this you, the one that has green eyes, blue eyes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This you. And so that's the first place to go, because everybody always goes, wow, because you get it in that instant. Mm-hmm. You just went nose to nose with the enormity of you. The
enormity of you. That's huge.
It is.
I know, pun intended.
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like there are so many people who need to hear that. Need to hear.
That's why I say
just the enormity of themselves, because we don't think about that. We think of ourselves as one very small piece of a bigger puzzle, of a crowded sidewalk, of things like that.
Yeah. Yes. And it gets even bigger, because the minute you go to this space, you're the seeker in you goes, okay, well, tell me more. Tell me more about me. The seeker really does love itself very much. As much as it likes to go for shiny things, this is the shiniest thing right here. But then you go into, okay, do I have any memory of this body not existing? No.
Yeah.
And the thing about the seeker is the seeker's like, she likes really complicated stuff. And this is too easy for her. So she'll be like, "Ooh, that's kind of fun, but squirrel over there." You know, she needs more than that. This is too simple. And it really is about the simple. It's the best place to hide the man behind the curtain. Best place is in the simple. So in this moment right now, in this very second right now, you and I are brand new. We've never existed before. This breath right now, you've never had these thoughts. Sophie, is it your dog? Sophia. Sophia's never sat in that particular location at this particular time, you know, while you've been thinking this way or having these conversations. This moment has never existed, and it never will again. And now this breath is the exact same thing. She goes, "Did you talking about me?"
That's exactly what it was. I should have spelled it like a child.
I almost said W-A-L-K. Don't say that.
Exactly.
And, you know, so you are fresh every moment. You are brand new every single moment. And we like to call it the now. I call it the me, because that's the bottom line truth. It's not a now. It's me. It's who I am right now and who I am right now. And so I had one lady, she goes, "Well, what do you do with this? What are people supposed to do with this?" And I'm like, "Why do you have to do anything with it? Other than, you know, you've been doing this all these years. Why do you have to do anything different? Let it be what it is, because it will evolve on its own. It will make its presence more known to you without you doing anything." That's what being alive is. You're alive. You are absolutely, this is what alive is. It's not about heart beating. It's not about breathing. It's about experiencing your reality in a wondrous or unwondrous state constantly. That's being alive. And so it's like, just live. Just keep living.
That's asking a lot. I mean, when we're not good enough, when we're not pretty enough, we're not smart enough, you're asking a lot right there.
Not young enough.
Yeah. So where can folks who've listened to this today who are like, "Wow, that's really striking a chord. I want to learn more about this." Where can folks follow you and find your content?
Well, you guys can always find me on social media, but my website has all my information, whether it's the social media links or my upcoming events or how to contact me if you want me to come to one of your events. But the easiest thing is if you Google Kristen Clark, you're going to find about 4,000 of us out there. But if you put an MF between my name, Kristen MF Clark, and yes, it means exactly what you think it means.
I was going to ask, like from, what was that show, House of Cards, where his Frank Underwood, his initials were FU.
I love that.
Yes. That was that.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. Then you can, everything about me will pop up because there's only one of us MFers out there.
I love it. And we'll put all that in the show notes for folks. They can find you.
Yeah.
This has been just such interesting content. It's not stuff that people talk about, that they're brave enough to talk about that frequently.
Yeah.
So I was so glad to have you on to kind of just share. And what would you leave a listener with who's kind of intrigued by this, who wants to learn more, or maybe isn't feeling the enormity of themselves?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the one thing I want to leave with you is this. You know that all around you is radio signals, right? We know this. That's a scientific fact. That's a fact of life. There are hundreds of radio signals all around you. And you could take your radio and you could turn it to 98.7. And it's out of all these hundreds of frequencies, it's going to grab onto that one and play what you want. And even though you're listening to 98.7, all the other hundreds of ones are there You can't see them. You can't prove it, but they're there. You know this. You are exactly the same when it comes to frequency. Everything, life, love, business, health, everything is responding to your frequency. And you get to change your frequency at any time. Boom, like that. You just get to decide to do it. And you can be angry, you can be in depression, you can be happy, and you still can change your frequency at any time. Nothing cages you. Nothing says, "Oh, you've got momentum from 20 years ago, so that's why this happened to you. Oh, you were vibrating wrong. That's why this happened to you." No, change that motherfucking frequency, please. Just change it. You are not that powerless. Nothing cages you. You are so much stronger than that.
I
Dun,
love
dun,
that. You are not that powerless. I mean, how many times we all need to hear that? You're not that powerless.
Yeah, you can play there if you like. But did you die?
That's what we need to title this podcast.
It
Did you
does.
die?
We really. But did you die?
Yeah, because so often, well, I always say that my only boundaries in life when I'm deciding to do something, whether it's like professional or personal, if I'm going to go to the hospital or prison, if neither of those are true, I'll probably give it a go. And if I still don't go to the hospital or prison and I kind of even enjoyed it, I might do it a second time. So I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah.
Well, I have loved this.
This is
This has been
wonderful.
super
Thank
fun,
you.
and I love you sharing your story and this content because it's just not something that people are brave enough to talk about that often.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am just excited to have you be part of our Superwoman Handbook here today.
Yay! Thank you so much. This was such a blast. It was great.